I call to order the Rutherfordton Town Council this August the 7th, 2013. Thank all of you for being here. A special night, but it's a good night for us also. So thanks for being a part of the government in operation here on Main Street in Rutherfordton. So thank you. Our first order of business is public comment time. Public comment time is an opportunity for any of our citizens that wants to speak to the council, make them aware of anything. They're more than welcome to do so. As I'll remind them, it does not necessitate a comment from them unless they so desire. But they are willing, if they're willing to say so, that's okay also. But this is an opportunity for any of our citizens to make comments to our council. The way it operates is, if you have something that you want to say, if you'll raise your hand, I will recognize you. Please stand, identify yourself, and give us your residence, and then you're free to make comments that you would like to the council. So public comment time is open, and yes, sir, would you please stand and identify?
Thank you. I'll stand over here in the corner.
That's fine.
People behind me. My name is Glenn Deck, or Bud is a nickname. I just want to comment about an initiative that was instigated by our senior minister, Dr. Jack Knussel at First United Methodist Church. We're starting a program called the Welcome Table. This is an outgrowth of the Giving Center of the Western North Carolina Methodist Conference. We are outlined with several churches, First Baptist Church, St. Francis Episcopal Church. We will be feeding those that are in need every Monday night starting September the 9th at our fellowship hall. We're having it, although there will be other churches involved, we're having it at that fellowship hall so they won't have to figure out where are we going this Monday night. So it's a joint effort between other churches. There's no qualifications. You can come in if you want to eat and make a donation. Fine. If you're just there because you're hungry, you can do that. The only requirement is you must eat in the church. There will be no takeouts. And we are encouraging membership of each church to come in and sit down and join in with these people just to let them know that we are caring for their needs. So that's the purpose of this program. It's called the Welcome Table of Rutherfordton. So we would encourage any support. There will be some publication about it in the newspaper later on, and also on the local radio stations about this event. So I appreciate your giving me the opportunity to speak, to address to this program, and again, I solicit your support in any way that you see fit. And Caroline, I understand you're involved with zoning. We will have some little signs we'll put up Monday morning about how to get in. Our church is very difficult to get into in some sense of the word, directing people to come into the back of the church, but we'll take them down at the end of the day, or end of the night. It will be from 5 o'clock to 6:30. And thank you for allowing me to speak, and I'll just have to comment, this baseball team, I grew up here playing baseball at R.S. Central and later in college. Proud of you. You did a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bud.
Sure.
Anyone else? Yes, sir. Keith, you're already standing, so you don't have to stand up. You're already standing, so go ahead.
Thank you. Appreciate your scheduling this format time. It's something with I'm representing Post, American Legion Post 423 here in the county, and we're formally wanting to let you know this is the soonest opportunity we had to be here before you in a formal condition after our meeting when we made the proclamation originally, but thank you for putting us on our schedule as we could. Wanted to just reiterate what you may have already seen in the paper. We've been so graced with some good coverage by our daily and our weekly and WCAB, but we wanted to let you all know and ask you for your sincere and ongoing support to finally honor our county's 2 recipients of the Congressional Medal of Honor. Most counties in America have none. We have 2, and we've hardly ever done anything to ever remember them. It's shameful. It really is. Whenever I get in veterans groups, such as our Honor Air Flight to Washington, when our Rotary Club was doing that for the veterans, World War II vets, every county represented in that flight would get on my back when they found out I was from Rutherford County. Said, what is wrong with you people? You haven't done anything. So what we're asking to be done is something we hope will be multi-purpose and at no cost to the public. But we would like to name two of our major roads after these two heroes, both of which were in Jerry Crump and Bryant Womack were in the Korean conflict. They call it a conflict. It was never a declared war, and it's never been over. It's kind of an unusual enigma, and I think due to that and other things, in fact, it was immediately at the heels of World War II, it's been a forgotten war. But it's high time we remember these heroes. Bryant Womack went to R.S. Central. He lived off Clark Road. Jerry Crump and his twin brother, Harry, lived down in the Sandy Bush area and went to Tri-High and then later to Cool Springs along with their younger brother, Richard. Harry and Jerry were identical twins, and they were both heroes. Harry was not a recipient of the Congressional Medal of Honor. Very few people are, but he was a three-time a Purple Heart with two clusters in his 3 injuries there in that same war. We're just asking for your support in this. Any questions we could answer, we'd be glad to. There are going to be petitions around. We've already got a pretty good stack. Those boys down at Post 423 have really gotten out and have tried to get these petitions signed by as many citizens as we can. And if you have an opportunity to do so, I wouldn't ask you to do it in an official capacity. I think that's something that individuals of us need to do based on our own convictions. But I do want to formally ask for your full support, answer any questions you might have, and help us see this through. We would like to see this done, and we certainly don't tend to let it flag until we do.
Thank you, Keith. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Keith, before you leave, you said they want to name a road after them?
The two major highways, hopefully we can do that.
Do you have any idea of what area of the county you're...
Well, we'd like to leave that up to, right now, I should probably explain, we had the representatives from our federal and our federal elected officials at our first meeting. They were there, the senator and our congressman. And our state representatives tried to be there, but it's kind of like this, a lot of these other meetings on these first Mondays. He was in Raleigh both times, but he is trying to get the technicalities of how this will be done to coordinate with DOT. But we'd like for it to be on the order of what Cleveland County did with their 74. You know, we have 374s or 474, depending on the name people give it around here, and we have a couple of 221s. It's very confusing. And I think this would be a side effect of what the main purpose we're talking about is honoring these men, but we think it would be a clarifying thing for everybody. I volunteer up here at the VA clinic every Monday, and there's not a day goes by up there that I don't have a veteran come in there from Cherokee County or Cleveland County or Spartanburg County. So I've been looking at this place for an hour and a half. I can't find it. You know, the roads are very confusing here. But I'd like to think it would be perhaps something on the order. 221 goes by Central, which is where Bryant Womack went to school. And on 274A or business or whatever you want to call it, starts out at Mooresboro lines of Bat Cave. I think that'd be very fitting for Jerry Crump because that goes by Old Cool Springs High School where he went.
Okay.
But that's a suggestion. But the main thing is we want it to be a naming as such, just like Cleveland County straightened their 74 problems out by naming Dixon Boulevard. And every time you pass an intersection there, that's what it says. It's really clarified there. If any of you tried GPS and other things here in Rutherford County, it's not a science yet. There's a lot to be clarified.
Yeah, but that sounds like two good suggestions that I'm certain DOT will listen to.
Well, I appreciate
it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your interest and continued support.
Yes.
Thank you. Any others?
Hi, I'm Joe Whiteside. I'd like to thank the Mayor for inviting me out and the town of Rutherfordton. I'm a resident of Rutherfordton, and we are opening a new business called Fab Lab Rutherford, and that's in the downtown Rutherfordton area, directly across the street from Legal Grounds, right on the corner. And what Fab Lab Rutherford is a open to the public community, workspace, and learning space where we make things using digital fabrication. There's classes and workshops for kids as well as adults. We have a very strong focus on academics. We have a team, we're currently building a team. Right now, the Director of Education is putting together an outline to work together with the middle schools, elementary schools, and some of the charter schools and private schools in the area. And we're going to offer STEM-based classes and workshops and training where kids can get a 21st century job training before they ever graduate from high school. And we're planning a grand opening October 5th to coincide with the Oktoberfest festivities that are going on. And right now we have soft open. Business has been good, even though we're not technically open yet. We have opened the doors for what we call the Fab Lab Founding 20. And that list is filling up faster than expected. And I have some literature on Fab Lab Rutherford. If anybody would like some copies, you can just hand them out, pass them down. And the memberships are, normal memberships are $100 a month for a basic and $125 for a full membership. Students, whether you be in grade school or college, is $75 a month. But for the founding 20 members, you can get locked into a lifetime membership of $50 for a basic or $75 for a full. And you have access to 3D printers, laser cutters, CNC machines, discounts on classes and workshops, and that's pretty much it. Any questions?
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate you. Any other public comments? Hearing none, we will move on. I'm going to say that, yes. I would like to move on to the discussion of the agenda. I have a request to council that we do some moving around there due to some requests from some of our presenters, some schedules that they have. I'd like to move 2 items up from new businesses to our next business. And I'd like to move number 2, resolution recognizing and celebrating the accomplishments of Rutherfordton Chase Intermediate 50/70 Little League Team up to number 1, right after adoption of the agenda. And then I'd like to move number 1, request from a STEP committee presented by Dr. Larry Gregg to engage in performing studies for the town as being number 2 at the adoption of the agenda, so we can kind of honor some of the requests that we received. But I ask that on behalf of the council to approve.
Move we approve modifications to the agenda, proposed modifications to the agenda.
There's a motion on the floor where we approve the amendments to the agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
There are 3 seconds, I guess. And any further discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Let the record show it is unanimous. Being so, we will move on to the amended agenda. And before we get there, Coach, if you would bring all your guys on in, and why don't we just form a line right over here so we can get you in here and be a part of the process. Go on behind all these interesting people that are seated.
They don't bite. They may look like it.
Yeah, just come on around over here, Coach. We we got a little bit of business, so just sit tight. We'll get to you, okay? Our first line of business is to a resolution recognizing and celebrating the accomplishments of the Rutherfordton Chase Intermediate 50-70 Little League team. And Council, you have it in front of you. I would request that I not read the complete resolution now until you have hopefully adopted it. And once you have adopted it, then we will go into a presentation of the resolution. And at that time, I'd like to read it to our team and to our families and friends. But you have in front of you a request for a approval of a resolution from this town council.
I think it'd be appropriate for Terry to make that.
Absolutely. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to adopt this resolution celebrating the accomplishments of the Rutherfordton Chase Intermediate Little League Baseball team.
Is there a second?
Second.
I'm sure there are 3 seconds, right?
There were.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Let the record show it is unanimous, and I thank you. Now, with your permission, we'd like to actually go into the presentation. And let me read the presentation first, and then I would like to have opportunity for Mr. Cobb to speak as far as the district is concerned, and then any of our council members, you're welcome to speak also. But this is what we just passed. Recognize all of you, fellas. And in reality, it's recognizing parents, family, friends, because you're a part of the team also. But this is the following resolution we just passed. Resolution recognizing and celebrating the accomplishments of the Rutherfordton Chase Intermediate 50-70 Little League team, town of Rutherfordton, North Carolina. Whereas, in 2012, Little League International announced the name of its newest baseball division, the Little League Intermediate 50-70 Baseball Division. And whereas this new division bridges the transition from Little League 40-60 to Junior League Baseball on a full-size field 60-90, and whereas this is a league for 11 and 13-year-olds whose advanced skills permit rules that are closer to the conventional baseball, and whereas for several past seasons, local little leagues around the world have celebrated 50-70 pilot programs, and whereas Little League International announced the first Intermediate League Baseball World Series was to be held in Livermore, California, to be played in August 2013. And whereas during this season, there have been 10 teams who have won their regional titles and competed in the inaugural Intermediate League Baseball World Series, and whereas those teams participated included 4 international teams, Japan, Canada, Puerto Rico, and Ecuador, and 6 teams from the United States, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Texas, Arizona, California, and North Carolina. And whereas the team from North Carolina and the Southeast Region champions is our own Rutherfordton Chase 50-70 Intermediate Little League team. And whereas on behalf of the citizens of this community, the Rutherfordton Town Council applaud the hard work and persistent effort of these young men along with that of their coaches, parents, siblings, and friends. And whereas this team and its leaders have demonstrated an unwavering determination to play outstanding baseball. And now, therefore, based on the foregoing, the Rutherfordton Town Council does hereby adopt this resolution of recognition and celebration in honor of the accomplishments of the Rutherfordton Chase Intermediate 50-70 Little League team, and connected therewith, the town clerk is directed to spread this resolution upon the minutes of the governing body of the town of Rutherfordton, and to cause it to be presented to this Little League team a certified copy of this resolution. This, the 7th day of August 2013. And Coach, First of all, I want to present to you the official big copy of that resolution. That is yours. Then I would like to present to your coaches their own certified copy also. That is part of theirs. And then to each team member, we want to have you have a copy of what we just did. And if you just pass those down, Coach, we want you to take a part of that, and I know it will mean more to you later on than maybe it does right now. But this is something that you can keep. I know it's going to mean a lot to your parents and family and friends to be a part of it. So we thank you, and now I'd like to, Coach, if you would, before I ask Terry to say something, if you would just take an opportunity to introduce your coaches and then also introduce your team. I would appreciate that.
Okay. First of all, I couldn't have done any of this without my second son, Keith Sneeden. Mr. Jeff Connery, one of our main assistant coaches. Without good assistant coaches, none of this is possible. I'll start off with, I'm going to start off with our pitchers, because obviously if we don't have pitchers, we can't control the game. Marty Barella. And that would be it for pitchers only, primarily. Next would be shortstop Keaton Sneeden. Infielder Jacob Lauder, who also pitches. And also pitcher Sam McCarthy. Infielder and outfielder Levi Park. Infielder and pitcher Jace Crow. Pitcher, infielder, and outfielder Cameron Sneeden. Our utility player who does about whatever we need to do, Jacob Knox. Infielder, outfielder, pitcher Clint Conley. Last but not least, our only player from Chase, since they didn't have a program, that we're going to lose after this tournament. He's moving to Colorado. And that is Big Joe Connor. And other than that, I would like to present the town council with a helmet signed by all of our players. It says Rutherfordton Little League 2013 North Carolina State Champs, which they are, Southeast Regional Champs, which they are, and in attendance 2013 World Series in Livermore, California. And I got to tell you, it's an honor to have represented these guys and be able to coach them. They were admired by every administrator with their integrity and respect for not only their hometown, but their state of North Carolina and their region. But I'd like to donate this to you guys to be able to display here, along with the baseball autographed by the players. When you come in City Hall here, you notice on the walls all the history. And I didn't used to be into history, but as I've gotten older, and as you'll get older, you'll appreciate history. You guys will be one of the first guys remembered, along with your team picture and this stuff, as being displayed as a World Series attendees, and I'm proud of you guys.
Coach, thank you. On behalf of the council, we accept both these honored gifts to us, and we will have them here in town hall. This will come in very handy. I've already got a place for it during our budget times. We'll use this, each one of us, take turns, okay? So we thank you for this honor. First of all, I'd like to have Mr. Cobb speak on behalf of the district, if you don't mind.
No, I haven't had a chance to see any of you since you've been home, and welcome home. Guys, you've done an exceptional job. We followed you on the streaming, watching every play, hooping, hollering, pulling for you. And Curtis said a while ago that as far as anybody they met, wherever they went, Tennessee, And I'm starting out in California. I know I've seen a couple of Facebook posts. I've seen some emails out that everybody, absolutely everybody that met this group of young men fell in love with them immediately. So I can assure you they represented our community the best we could ever hope for. They did an outstanding job. And fellas, I know you've got a celebration at the courthouse where a lot of folks are going to come and talk to you, and I'll have some more time to talk to you when I get up there. But you're representing District 1 and the entire community the best that I could ever hope for. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jerry, and I'll open the floor up. If any council member would like to say anything, I'd be more than happy to open up some time for you.
I just will kind of echo what Terry said. It has been exciting kind of watching this play out, you know, through the media and different media outlets. And then, of course, seeing where the teams came from, knowing that one of our teams from Rutherfordton was there in, you know, the first World Series is very, very exciting, and I just congratulate each and every one of you.
That would be the same for me. I would like to wonder, out of curiosity, how many of you have had a chance to go to California before winning this year? So 2 have been there before. Isn't that a major accomplishment to see another part of the world, and this grand United States, and that you were able to represent this state? Thank you all.
How about how many have never flown on the stage?
Yeah, thank you to never flown. But I know there was a lot of new experiences, and that's great that they were able to celebrate those along the way, along with keeping a memento of being the true state and southeastern regional champs. I think that's wonderful.
I got one more player who showed up a little bit late, Adam McDowell. Adam, come on up. Adam is one of our star players, and he broke his, or sprained his ankle in the last game of the finals. And we iced and put heat on it up until the very first game of the World Series, and he limped around out there. But he played his heart out and left it on the field. But these guys scored 122 runs, and you gave up 45, and that ought to say enough. You only lost 2 games, and those were in the World Series, and that ought to say it all. Everybody had to lose ball games except for the ones that won it all, and that was Japan. And it was an honor to be able to coach you guys. Thanks to City Council, the telephone call from the governor, all the money that came in, designated totally to you guys. We didn't have to solicit. Just says how much this community loves and supports you guys. And we appreciate you guys. Thank you.
I'd also like to congratulate both the coaches and particularly the team on what you've accomplished. And Coach, I'm sure you realize, but fellas, I doubt seriously if you realize what you've actually accomplished. So let me tell you, you've done something that's never been done in this community. Certainly not in my lifetime, and to my knowledge, never. We've had teams that won a state championship at high school level. We've had a few boys to go on to play ACC ball, or even a couple fellows here in the county go and play pro baseball. But never have we had a team win a state championship, a national regional championship, and participate in the World Series. And not only participate, but beat the whole country. So keep that in mind as the years go on, because as you get older, you'll realize more and more just what you've accomplished. And thank you so much.
Thanks, Coach. And thanks, guys. As Terry said, a lot of us watched every game that you were in. And in reality, some of us watched some of the other games too. But it was a great opportunity for us to live that small moment with you. Now, it may be hard to believe, but as you look around here, you see all of us. We were your age at one time. So we know what's important. We give you plaques and all this and stuff. You can take that home, and your parents enjoy it, and they'll put it. Don't know if that's going to fit on the refrigerator door, but I'm sure you'll find a place to put it. But we know what's important to people your age. So when you finish dinner tonight, we want you, if possible, to make a trip down to Main Street Ice Cream. and get you some treats with ice cream. And there should be one there for coaches also. So I hope you will enjoy it. Thanks again for what you've done. What a great opportunity for a lifetime to your experience, and we are all extremely proud of you. Let me make a little bit of a statement here, just a second. Once we finish this, I would like for permission for have about a 5-minute recess, and if all the team members and coaches, we all could go outside in front of the building. Newspaper would like to make a picture of all of us, make it official that what we accomplished here tonight. So any other comments from council? Thank you again, and would you please stand and give them a big honor. Could I have a motion for a 5-minute recess?
So moved.
Is there a second? 3 seconds. All those in favor stand up. Thank you. Give us 5 minutes. If you would, team, just go out in front, and we'll be there shortly. And I'd like to cancel you also.
How are you going to follow that up? Let's go get ice cream with it. Yeah, ice cream. Congratulations on that.
How's your uncle doing? Well, I'm surprised you got to play, so that's great. I know it's scary to take the great right there. Once you finish, you just come out. Well, I think I know. But I appreciate it. And that is yours.
I think it's rough. I think it's rough. How you doing, Dave?
What's wrong with that point? You say the doctor about that point? The wine stuff, the high output.
Well, no, I think we got all the time.
So they took a picture of your office, because that's our first day golf finish.
Using high water clay. Yep. I like the water. After you saw those days, I got to
Seems amazing. I was just telling Pat, you think about it. There are 10 Little League teams in the world, that age group, and they're one of the best in the world. Yes, it is. Of course, you have a lifetime here. I think it would. Are you Oh, is that, in the person in South Africa?
Because he's in West Carolina, so he works for Horse
Really? Because that's the one his daughter was trying to find a place.
Oh, that's right, you're right.
Yeah, yeah.
They love it, work out for her.
Wonderful.
Yeah, she's cute. She's 11 years old.
Oh, my
I told her, I said, well, I understand that you're a gymnast or a ballet dancer. She said, well, I forgot. As the other to keep up with that.
Wow.
And she's doing regional championships in South Africa. Next Thursday, I come home on Tuesday, Thursday, I came back.
Oh, my. That's what youth will do for you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Linda, keep going, I kept going, how does she do that?
Yeah, jet lag.
Years.
Wow. Yeah.
I'll keep,
Try to get John. Yeah.
I was not on the board Saturday, and it started.
They must be on vacation. Because I've seen them, because we practice handbells at the BB&T and I've seen them out in the backyard, but I haven't seen them out in the backyard. We haven't practiced, we didn't practice there last week. We played church Sunday, so we practiced. Yes, so we'll have to change it something. We need you there, so we're not going what did this one work? We're just going to figure out another time. We'll have it. No, because I haven't turned stuff in. That's the reason why we did, we were going to do it. It's coming Monday, but they chose to wait. So, oh well. Anything to say for the whole meeting or just the first? I was just going to introduce you. Whenever I get a chance to introduce you, which I thought I'd do. I won't. There'll be big quizzical expressions like, you took this job, why? Oh, yeah. Okay. Keith, flip back on the lights with, okay, Caroline. We know what's This is 5 minutes. He's getting back in. They've got to go eat.
And I mean, I've never been
I'll be there. You can come with her.
I didn't realize that was there.
Yeah.
Okay. That is like number one on my agenda form.
That's great. Sorry, we can't do something like that on every meeting.
Oh, man, we're nothing fun.
You guys get kids?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to go back and capture the employee, then we'll just move down the line, okay? Well, no, we'll get Larry first. We'll get Larry. You guys ready? You guys ready? Everybody ready over there?
Yeah.
I call back to order our town council meeting, and as the amended agenda was, we move on to item number 2, is request from STEP Committee presented by Dr. Larry Grigg to engage Arnett, Muldrow, and Associates to perform a branding study for the town. And Larry, I guess we'll turn it over to you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. All of you town council members have in your packets a good deal of information that was provided by Karen related to what's going on here. To try to get it down to as few pieces of paper as we can, I provided each of you with a copy of the actual proposal from Arnett, Muldrow. Let me summarize where we are and why I'm here representing this group tonight, and others are here as well. For a year now, a substantial number of people in the community have been working with North Carolina Rural Center in order to work our way through the NC STEP process. It has been challenging, exciting, very useful for us. And just as we were coming to the place where the planning was about to end and we were putting together specific projects that would be implemented, making use of the $100,000 grant that from the Rural Center, budgetary things began to take place in Raleigh, and all of that went pretty much on hold. And as the budget is sorted through, I don't know, and I'm not sure anyone else is clear exactly how this is going to work itself out. And so, to some degree, we're in limbo with this process. However, those of us who were part of the marketing committee and then the presentation that we made to the larger group here a few weeks ago, there was a unanimous agreement there that certain parts of this needed to go forward no matter what happened with the budgeting process with the General Assembly. And that had to do with, there was a recommendation that had been made from the marketing committee that we engage the public relations firm Arnett Muldrow and Associates to do both a rather intensive survey for us as well as to develop a community branding strategy for us. Where we are in terms of funding does not permit that because of the freezing of the funds, the implementation funds from the Rural Center. However, it was determined that in the planning funds that there is sufficient funds, if you approve it, for us to go ahead and use those planning funds to do this branding stage of the process. And if we can get that in place, then we can build some other things on top of it. It may not turn out to be just exactly like we originally intended for it to be, but we can still draw some good things from it. I have been in conversation with folks at Arnett Muldrow. They are willing to modify the original process that we were talking about in order to make this happen. What is incumbent upon you, if you choose to do so, is that if you will approve using planning funds for this, then we can go ahead and get into a contractual relationship with Arnett Muldrow and get this process moving within the next couple of weeks and get as much accomplished as we can. And so I do want to reiterate that in the conversation in the NC STEP leadership team here a few weeks ago, there was complete unanimity from that group that they wanted this represented to you and hope that it will be adopted and we can move forward with it. Now, with that in mind, I'll try to answer any questions you might have, and then your processes can move forward in the appropriate ways.
I'll make a comment to start with. We have 3 different committees working on that STEP area right now, and they're all coming up with some similar projects and some other unique projects themselves. But in working with all 3 groups, I think it is extremely beneficial of this study be done because it can help all 3 groups. And in reality, I hate for us to proceed from any of those standpoints, from any of those groups, without having some groundwork already laid in front of us than us just trying to do projects and hope it works. So I think there are extreme benefits that would be generated from the study. Obviously, with the actions going on in Raleigh, it kind of delayed what we hoped would happen. And I think it's a concern from the STEP committee to try and get started on this STEP project as soon as we possibly can. And this study is going to take a little bit of time. And I think the general feeling was to not delay it if at all possible. And I guess Karen and Russ, we've kind of looked at that, the funding, and the part that is being requested for, we believe there is room there to do that. Is that correct?
That is correct.
But something else to make council aware of. Once the step money hopefully is unfrozen or thawed out or whatever, we will not be allowed to take step money and put it back into the training part. But at least this will allow us to go ahead and get started on the process, and I think it is a step that is necessary for, like I said, for all three groups and for the step group as a whole. But that's just my comments. If there's some questions, anything from the council, or comments that either one of us wants to make, you're more than welcome to do so.
I think it would be fair to say, too, if I remember all the conversations, that there were plans for the way we could use the money, but there was the committee's feelings, it was a sense of urgency that we needed to move forward and start into the implementation phase, and that this was more important than the other expenditures that were planned for the rest of the planning period. Is that?
That was the consensus of the group. And one of the things that this part of the process with Arnett Muldrow will do is help us to clarify our image, our sense of identity, and give us a kind of common denominator process in order to present ourselves to the community, as well as to market ourselves in larger markets in terms of new business and tourism and a variety of different kinds of things where there are various different ways that when people see that, they instantly say, oh, that's Rutherfordton, North Carolina, and that will be important for us. Hopefully, if the funding is put back in place, then we can come back at an appropriate time and recommend the rest of the process that we were originally talking about with Arnett Muldrow. But since we couldn't do it all, it was our sense that this was the urgent part that needed to be done.
And several of us, in fact, they have come and presented a program to our STEP committee. So everybody that's there was able to see their quality of work, and several of us know of their work firsthand.
They're strongly recommended. They work with a number of other MC STEP towns in North Carolina. They high degree of credibility and integrity in what they do.
Any questions or comments from any staff or council? Or comments from staff, if you have anything you want to say? I'll entertain a motion with my fingers crossed, I guess. So we can get started.
I make a motion that we approve the contract with Arnett Muldrow, form the branding study for Rutherfordton with the cost of the branding study to be $7,500 and an estimated extra expenditures not to exceed $750 to be paid from the North Carolina Rural Center Planning Grant.
Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second. Any further discussion? Are we clear with the motion? Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. The record show it is unanimous. Thank you. Go forth and work.
We shall do so. I will be in touch with them tomorrow, and we'll get the ball rolling. Thank you for indulging me in the time. I am the interim pastor of Greenwich First Baptist Church. Their prayer meeting starts at 7, and they expect me to be there, so I need to get
If our meeting gone longer, we may need you here.
We'll hold Kevin in here for a few minutes.
Terry, why don't you go ahead and make everybody aware of tonight's events?
Oh, well, the ball team, I don't know exactly all the times that everybody got back, but I know the team didn't arrive till probably midnight or later last night, Monday night, last night. What's the night? Wednesday? Anyhow, there's a celebration for them at 8 o'clock this evening on the courthouse lawn. And, you know, a lot of us didn't get to talk to them. If you knew one of them personally, that'll be a perfect time to join and speak to the guys and the coaches and their families. So everybody's invited for that.
Thank you. we'll hold off the rain, all right? Our next order of business, we'd like to recognize one of our employees, Mr. Kevin Blankenship. Kevin has been with our Public Works Department since July the 28th, 2003. He was first hired to be the landscaper and now is our crew leader. During his 10 years with the town, he has been eager to learn new skills and take on more responsibility. Kevin is a quality employee and a wonderful asset to our town. And Keith, you would express to him our appreciation for his work to our town and what he's meant to us on 10 years now, and we thank him for his work and being a part of the efforts going on here in Rutherfordton. Okay? Thank you, sir. Moving on to our next is the approval of the minutes. You should have the minutes in front of you. And I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
There's a motion to approve the minutes as printed. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Let the record show it is unanimous. I thank you. Next order of business is questions for department leaders.
Just an observation on fire department report. There was a lot of responses to down trees and power line down and weather related. So I know that there's been extra demands on the department than normal.
On all departments, there's been a lot of extra demand for everyone.
And I know it's no need to advise council and their citizens. You got to remember when things like that happen, that's added to what our normal responsibilities are. So when things like that, or snowstorms or whatever, those things you know happen, and so it puts a strain on our staff. But they do a great job. And Keith, I know you guys are still working to try and.
We got it all up in this side of me. Lucy, I do have something I'd like to
Yes, sir.
I've got 3 issues I'd like to discuss. The last few weeks, the hire has went out at the courthouse. They called me on a Saturday, and I got a guy that go over and check it. And the unit was leaking out freon, and he said it's just old and wore out. We can charge it, but it was, it's bad. And that was tied in with the heating system, which is the same age. So I went and got a couple quotes. I got one more to go, but we have a quote of. Is it okay to tell?
I give a price.
Well, this is $6,000 will cover, and I'll get one more quote, excuse me, and then we'll award the bid if the council would approve us putting the in. Because I think we had to give deposits back twice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we got another event coming up at 17th, and I think we can probably get one installed. And later on, we have 4 units if we have a unit. So 4 units is, lightning, something still won't happen. I mean, I know we probably can't do it now, but eventually I'd like to see us go with a backup type, maybe Mitsubishi unit or something, a backup heating and air system. But like I say, for now, this would be sufficient to get us by.
If we're going to consider putting one in there, we really need to look at making sure it's sized correctly. Because, well, I know that built roof doesn't have any insulation in it, and so you're going to have more BTUs to cool it. Winter doesn't seem to, with our Kiwanis Club, does not seem to be a problem, but in the summer, if all units are running, it never really cools down, and Joe's turned it on around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, try to get some cool down. So somebody needs to recalculate the BTUs to make sure that if we're going to put another unit in, we put a big enough one to offset the lack of insulation in that.
It's a 5-ton, which is huge. And I talked to both Heat and Myers when I put a quote in, and he actually, you have 2 units in there. So with 2 units running, you have more than enough tonnage. With 1 unit going out, it just won't happen.
You know, it freezes up what it does. After it runs 2 hours, it freezes up. So it's been inefficient for a long time. So I asked him, I even told him what you said. I said, now, if we need to go bigger, you need to let me know. He said, no, the 5-ton with the other unit, both running will handle it, no problem. So I did question him on that. And I actually questioned another heating company as well.
Okay. Just from the practical side, when it's in the high 90s or 100 degrees, when those units have been working, they haven't cooled it down. So I don't know their calculations. Stan, you may have a different observation. I don't know.
No, I agree with you totally. I mean, it just does not get comfortable in there on a warm day. I didn't say a hot day, I said a warm day. And,
Well, I just, you know, I know what, these are commercial companies, and,
but I would just make sure they're not figuring it strictly on square footage, because
I can imagine.
basically the layout of that building with no insulation overhead, you're gonna need about twice the capacity of a normal system of that size.
Well, like I say, when, you know, Rutherfordton, he just told me, he said that, you know, with both units, it would be fine, but I'll go back and read.
Keith, how old is the unit in question?
I have no idea. Karen's been here how long?
So it,
20 years.
it was there long before the clubhouse renovation. So.
Oh, long.
And we knew when we did the renovation, it was one of those things that, you know, you kind of had to pick and choose some things, and it was working at the time, but we knew there was a life expectancy. And, you know, I think it lasted obviously well beyond its life expectancy. But also, when the renovation was done, we kind of set up a situation to start putting a percentage of rents back for that, so that we would be able to do, you know, hopefully maintenance and so forth. And this would be, you know, definitely one of those things that money has been set aside to do.
I would definitely ask for a bigger unit, but I've been here 10 years, and in just the past probably year and a half, I've been hearing complaints about it. So, I'm going to say.
The building ended up with about 3. And is it since
The renovation?
Or maybe it's longer.
How long has that been?
Since October of
Since after I
2008.
moved up here,
October 2008 is when it reopened.
5 years.
You blink and it's been a long time.
I think that, I don't think those units have, from my memory, and it may not be very clear anymore, but I don't remember those units ever cooling that building down on a real hot day. And I'm talking about us coming in at 6:30, which is still the heat of the day. It's been was turned on around 3 o'clock, and it was never comfortable on those hot days where it was more than 95 degrees.
Well, maybe council would feel more comfortable going to $7,000 and let me question a larger tonnage if they think it's, and then I can up the tonnage.
Well, you definitely want to make sure you've got the right, you know, situation if you're going to put any money into it.
So,
And you want to make
I
sure
mean, I have
it's
no problem at all. I'll go back and talk to him, but I did question one of them on that, and he said it should be fine with those units, but I will.
Right now, we have a little bit over $11,000 in that clubhouse reserve for this. So we've been bumping it up. You know,
Well, I mean, could the council approve the lowest quote of, as long as it's not over? You don't have to put a set amount of money on it. I'm gonna get 3 quotes from 3 of the other companies anyway.
Yeah, as long as you've asked the right questions and you know, we've kind of expressed all the concerns, I think that.
Well, these are commercial companies, and, you know, I usually go to commercial people. I mean, glad to ask.
Would it be in order for us to make a motion to allow Keith and county administrator to make a decision to purchase based on what they find out on the size of the units that are needed, and that therefore get competitive pricing and take the lowest pricing?
Yes.
Do we have to say with a maximum of?
Let's go ahead and do a budget amendments. We can go ahead and spend the money. Like I said, I got another renter coming in a couple of weeks. So we'll just go ahead and we could do a budget amendment up to the $11,000, which is what we have, you know, in the reserve. And then whatever we don't use, you know, it will just remain there.
11 may be too broad, but I don't know that 1,000 more is broad enough. And that's the dilemma we've got if we want to get the unit in between our meetings. I would feel comfortable deferring that to Keith and Karen and let them make the decision and report back to us next week.
Just put that in the form of your motion, and we'll take care of it.
I thought I just did.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure I saw Karen writing, so
I've got it.
Okay.
Say so moved, Henry.
Second.
There's a motion on the floor that we take care of the air conditioning unit at the clubhouse and leave it to the discretion of. Okay? Right? There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion on it? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Let the record show it is unanimous, and yes, we need to do that as soon as possible.
I'm sure we can start again before then.
Okay.
Second thing is, we have a skid steer, who's basically like a bobcat. And we use it a lot. We take up sidewalks, we do side ditches, we do the sewer, line, manholes, everything. And it still runs, but it's small, it's a little small, and it's got a lot of age on it. But it's still worth selling. So we was all kind of talking to each other, we was hoping that maybe, we've got around a 90 mile Ford truck that the motor's been blown on for a while. It's not worth fixing. I've got some pictures, I think, if y'all pass around and look at them. And it's full of scrap metal we just got, over a period of time, put it in the back. And what we was hoping that maybe we could take in that truck is not worth putting on. I mean, it just probably needs to be scrapped. We've got the dump truck, we got a new dump truck, and we took it over the dump truck out of service. It was wore out pretty good. But it still runs. We put it on good deals. The back toe was blown motor. Probably sell it, put it on good deals. We've got some old telephone poles that come from Crestview Park. There's just a lot of stuff that we could sell. We have a cement mixer in the pad that we don't ever use. We've got an 84 Chevrolet pickup that runs, but you can imagine what it looks like. So it's been here for years. And we can sell our skid steer that we've got. And hopefully with the monies that we can gather up, and you're allowed to use a little power bill money. We use it probably 20% of the time on power bill, 30, something like that. So we could use a little bit of that money if we needed, and we use it on sewer. We actually maybe could take a little money from the sewer. But we're wanting to upgrade, get a newer machine and a bigger machine, and I think we can do it without actually having to ask for a budget amendment. Anything from the general fund. I don't know if you need to vote on that or how that would work, but we would like to know if it would be okay to give the money to us, put it in a separate fund, and once we get everything sold, see where we're at, and then what we can find, and try to upgrade a piece of equipment without spending any money less.
To me, it'd be worth just get rid of it and have the room. I mean, this stuff's not.
It's just, some of it will bring, a couple of them will probably bring pretty good money, a couple of them probably bring much, some of it's just scrap metal. But still, all of it together, with our little skid steer, we can come up with a good bit of money. A skid steer like we're looking for, I've seen some for around $10,000, $11,000.
Is that on our agenda?
It's in the
Well, I know, but can we take it up if it's not on our agenda? Or can we just take it?
You can declare some of the things surplus. I can declare things surplus up to about $500, but after that, council has to declare things surplus.
So we can declare it surplus, but we would not be taking any action beyond that.
Right. What we do is we go ahead and sell off the equipment and then come back as a budget amendment to bring in the revenue.
I think that's what you're asking.
Yeah, basically, yes. We put it in a separate fund, and
You're kind of letting us know what you're
but
doing.
I'm just basically letting you know what we're doing, and Russ will take everything we're doing to the town, to the fund, and then once we see where we're at, I'll come back to the council, and if I find a piece of equipment like I want, if we need a couple thousand or something, I'll come to the council.
But the motion is only to declare these items surplus and authorize the disposal of them.
Correct.
I'll make that motion.
There's a motion to declare these items as being surplus. Is there a second?
And authorize them to be disposed of.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Let the record show it is unanimous. Thank you. Just when it happens, just come back and let us know.
It's probably going to take a while.
Yeah.
The third thing, our garbage trucks were fault. Actually, before I came here, and the whole purpose of buying them was to buy trucks that was under 26,000 pounds, so you didn't have to have CDL license. Well, little did we know that when they were buying them, that the truck's a factory truck, and when you put the garbage in, it has a slide that comes all the way to the front. Well, the way the guys know that the truck is full of mattresses, the slide is all the way against the cab. Okay, this is a factory truck. It's a one-axle truck. So we got pulled over a good while back, and the guy said we was overweight. He said, but probably if you would just up the weight of your tag, they'd probably give you a break. Okay, well, Russ, we went, we upped the weight of the tag. So we go until a few months, a month or so ago. And there's a different officer, and he pulls us over, and he stops, he's a DOT, and he says, you're overweight again. So I go up there, and I told him, I said, you know, I can't weigh a truck. I don't know how much is in it. And when it rains, you know, garbage is heavier. There's no way for me to gauge. And we went over about a few thousand pounds, you know, a couple thousand pounds. And this is a factory truck. It's made to hold what's, well, he said, well, all I can tell you is you need to buy, put another axle on. I said, that's going to cost, I mean, a lot of money. So anyway, we paid the ticket, and they sent the ticket back to Russ, and Russ called in, they wanted us to sign corrective action that we took. So the only thing we could do, well, I don't even know if we sent it back yet or not, but, so what we're doing now, we're just trying to guess at where we stopped, but naturally we're having to dump more. So on top of 3 times as much brush, we're dumping more garbage now. And it's taking more time. So I went and got prices on putting an extra axle in the truck. It was $6,000 to $7,000 a truck. Well, the garbage trucks don't have, I mean, they got some life left, but they don't have that much life left. I don't know. This is the number. But the DOT, you know, I don't know what we're going to do.
Do you not get our House representatives or senator could have any impact with DOT? I know DOT is pretty independent.
Yeah, what would have to happen is we need to get special legislation, and there's one other town in the eastern part of the state that had special legislation to let their garbage trucks, you know, exceed this limit. There's been, since that was implemented quite a while ago, there's been a reduction in that kind of special legislation, but it's a possibility.
Not immediate, then.
I don't know the nuances of the law here at all, but is that law in effect as a safety precaution, or is it in effect for able to tear up the highways if the truck is above a certain amount?
I'm going to say the truck's not unsafe. It was designed, it's a factory truck, it was designed the full weight that you can put in it. You know, when the slide stops, the truck's full, the truck has been designed by an engineer to handle it. It's not top heavy and everything what you put in it. But since it has one axle, the guy actually was not even stopping double axle trucks. He was up there stopping one axle trucks. You know, and like I say, to kind of defeat the purpose of what we're doing, the trucks were originally bought. I'm assuming we did not have to go have the physicals and go through all the, you know, the aggravation of having to have the CDL license. Now we do have some guys with CDLs called the yellow truck is large enough that they have to have it. But they just have to have the Class A. I don't think we have to have the fire truck, semi-truck. But
Are they saying it's overweight for a single
axle?
axle? But what's the actual weight that this truck is made to hold?
Well, apparently, I don't know the exact weight, but I don't think we was over for like 3,000 or 4,000.
It was less than that, it was about 1,100.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, it's not tearing up the roads, and it's not unsafe, but they don't look at it like that. I mean, when they get the law, you know, law's law. But, you know, it's kind of a dilemma, because they want to see that we we've corrected it. I mean, they send a letter, and we've got to sign it. And I think the only thing we'll probably do now is put a letter with it that we're not loading the truck. Still, it's a wild guess, and if it rains, it's a definite wild guess. I mean, you know, even though where I live, still some garbage is wet. So I don't, I mean, we could do a budget amendment, spend $14,000 to fix the trucks. We could.
That seems like an undue burden. I mean, we know DOT, I mean, they've got to be justifying their job, but also if there's some sort of ordinance saying single axle, I don't know, I guess I'd like to know where they're quoting that from.
He basically told me he's
It's a general statute.
Yes.
Okay.
He told me he's up there to stop single axle trucks. We're not the only ones, we want to pick it on him.
Okay, so it was all single axle.
Well, the thing about it is, if there's a state general statute that says you cannot exceed 26,000 pounds, think of the liabilities we're seeing this town in if someone should have an accident, a fatality. We wouldn't have a leg to stand up. Same time, I cannot, in my mind, justify spending $600-700 on a truck that's at least half worn out, maybe 3/4. It looks to me like the only choice we have is just to say we'll only load it 85% full or whatever figure we know will get us below. Now, granted, that's going to result in a few more loads, but it's not going to double your loads or anything. It's going to increase them by 15%. And that's certainly cheaper than spending $600-700 on a truck, I would think.
Is it something that, okay, so you're saying it's happened twice in what type of a time period?
Almost a year.
It was about last May.
About a year.
What would that truck cost you?
I think that we had on the CIP for about $80,000. And that, looking at that single axle.
That's,
That might be a
You're
single
probably
axle.
looking at, I don't want to tell a lie, I don't really know.
When we were looking at doing the replacements on the CIP, we had about $75,000-80,000 in there for that. But that's a single axle.
that's a single axle. So the best thing to do is just dump more frequently until it comes to buy a new garbage truck and then just buy a double axle garbage truck.
Keep in mind,
You have to have
we're
CDL.
short-handed than we used to be.
And so is there someone there each time
Not all the time.
weighing and,
It's just, they randomly, go up there and check, going in the lane.
yeah.
You don't stay up there.
Are there certain days you see that it would be more beneficial to dump more often, or times of the year, or after a holiday? I mean, you know.
It's pretty well, you know, that you go to, it's just a wild guess. I mean, we can guess at it, but we still don't get tickets, you know, I don't know.
Have we asked advice of council? I mean, I sort of share Sam's concern, but I mean, I want to make sure that we're making the proper decision with the right amount of information.
So if you figure $14,000, the truck's gonna last 3 more years. You know, I think we'll figure about 3 more years.
And that's for both trucks.
And like I say, I mean, I lost a key player, and I can feel it.
From a legal standpoint, I contacted DOT to find out if this was simply a policy that we could get an exception for and explaining our situation. And because it was a general statute, it would take the General Assembly to pass something in order to get any sort of exemption off of that. So it's pretty black and white in their eyes.
Well, think about it, this town's already on record with the state as having 2 citations. So if we don't do anything, even if we never get caught again, and there's a bad accident, we're liable. And I don't see any way the world can afford that. I want to risk supporting that.
Presently, they're dumping more frequently to keep the weight down.
Well, I mean, I think that's the answer. That costs, if anything, keep a little overtime, and hopefully not even that.
How many loads a week extra? 1, 2?
I haven't counted, I just probably need to check and see, but definitely more. Probably one more dump. You figure,
Per week?
dump 2 times a day, and when they go 3/4 of the way, you're gonna have an extra half a load you're gonna go to dump.
So is that per day for 2 days?
Per day, 2 days for 2 trucks.
And how long does it take you to
Probably an extra
hour a week?
hour per truck, probably.
Could we go with that policy for 30 days and monitor that and then have you report back? I mean, I'd hate to abandon you on this situation if there's another decision that needs to be made, but I also don't want to jump today at 14,000 without maybe all of the information. If you could maybe monitor that for us and report back to us, would that be the?
That'd be fine. I just council, remember that, I know 2 hours, thanks a lot, but, we really pushed it to the limit to meet our quota just with our normal work schedule. And with the amount of rain and trees that's coming down and brush and ditches that people want cleaned and everything, they're not, sewer that we've not even touched.
How many people?
2 hours means a lot.
How many people are on the truck?
Maybe 3 per truck.
Average hourly rate, pay rate? You get the guess on?
It's about $15. So if you look at it, an extra 2 hours, even if you go to overtime per week, that's.
Well, it really doesn't make good sense for a long-term solution to dump more often. Just real quick, without adding fringe benefits in there, you are picking up 52 weeks out of the year, and it's costing you, say, $50 a day, a week, for extra manpower, not counting the gas and the fuel to operate it. It's $2,500. So in 3 years, I know that's an extended period of time, you put an axle under the truck. So if the truck is going to got more than 3 years of life left in it, we ought to be looking at putting axles under the truck and not reducing the load, in my mind. But I think I agree with Christie's idea that we monitor it for a period of time and try to get what's there. But long term, I think we're going to be making an unwise decision on the economy of what we're really going to save. But just loading the truck less than what it can carry personally.
Yeah, it's just obviously a big amount of money. But if I had just a little bit more information.
Well, I could probably even weigh the truck, when it gets to the maximum, and then see where, actually the slides stopping.
Right.
And then,
Right.
Into it like that. So I'll do that again. Deal with it. I just wanted to make everybody aware of what we're dealing with.
Right.
Well, I'm going to disagree for a second with Henry's assessment. Said 3 men on the truck. You don't have to send 3 men to dump the truck. I would think 1 man can drive the truck over there and dump it, so that's going to cut that $2,500 a year for 30 days.
They all ride the truck there because they're still.
Leave them out on the
Yeah,
street.
and then you're dropping them somewhere, going and dumping, coming back and getting them, and then going back out. I mean, you're doing a whole lot of stuff just to not carry them when, you've got to go dump and then continue on your, well, I mean, you've got to think about what
But
it's
I agree,
going to take
let's look at it for 30 days, and they weigh every truck over there, so we know how much. I mean, they only have to produce load 5-10%. Let's see what we're talking about. But
Well, I think I could go up to Lakeside Mills. They've got a scale and maybe weigh it. I don't know what they charge. I'll check one more.
Maybe we could ask a favor.
And at best, you still got a Jerry Reed truck when it's all said and done. got a truck that was designed to have that extra axle put up.
With just a helper axle, like you see, with just
The guy-
single tire axle.
The guy that I talked to, he does this, and he's done one for Forest City, so they had to do it the same time, they put one under one of their trucks.
Is it like you'd see on the back of, or under a dump truck where it's a single axle, single tire axle?
I think it's where it'll lift up actually, and then you can let it back down.
And with air suspension.
No, I'm sure it was, because I remember talking about that. You lift it up, and when you sit down, once you get so far, loaded, so like halfway, you don't drop off.
Okay,
Mr. Mayor, yeah.
I think Caroline's. she's
Yeah,
on the-
on a broader note, I'd like to introduce Caroline Edwards, who began working as our zoning and code enforcement officer on Monday of this week. Caroline's a native of Rutherford County, having grown up in the southern part of the county and spent a lot of her childhood here in Rutherfordton, staying with her aunts and other family members. This will make some of you happy and some of you not so happy. She has a BS in soil science and a BS in conservation from NC State University. She also has her master's in landscape architecture and a minor in horticulture from state as well. Her past work has included being a private consultant. She's very familiar with NC Diener permitting. She has worked with engineers, site plans, and with land use ordinances in the past. And she also has some experience in writing ordinances. And I will tell you, just from the 3 days that she's been here, she has hit the road running. And she's, I know it's, as those of you that have seen our Unified Development Ordinance, it's like this. And I know she has a lot to learn, but she's doing a fantastic job so far.
Expecting less from the state, right?
I figured that from a state grad, so.
There is a reason they call it a VS.
But anyway, welcome, Caroline.
Thank you so much. It is my true pleasure to be here and to serve the town of Rutherfordton. It's very exciting for me. I look forward to the challenges and to the getting to know the people and the businesses, and I'm all about the success of Rutherfordton, the people, the businesses here, and everything going on. I appreciate the opportunity very much. Thank you.
Good to have you with us.
Thank you.
I know you have someplace to go. You're welcome. That's fine.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank
you,
you.
Caroline.
Any other department? Yes, sir.
I have one thing on a brighter note too. Hopefully you received an invitation, but Patrick and Henry will be at the fire station on August 15th at 11:30. They want to do a special check presentation for the regional grant, for which we are the host department for the radio equipment. So if you're free that day, you're more than welcome to be there for that.
Thank you, Tom.
Yeah.
Pretty large grant.
It is.
Not all ours.
No, and there was a little bit of disappointing news. The other department on the eastern side, they did not receive theirs, so I'm going to have to look and see how all that goes. But at least for us, we're going to benefit with my labor for doing the paperwork is the only expense in the town.
Good.
11:30.
Any other comments?
Before we leave, questions for department leaders, I want to make sure before we leave this garbage truck thing that I know Keith's going to monitor for 30 days, but I want to make sure we do whatever we need to do to stay in compliance. I don't think the town should face the liability of being overloaded. So I hope we're in agreement that you instruct Keith's boys to do whatever they got to do to keep the truck within limits.
I think you mentioned a while ago, there's a slide inside the truck, and that's part of what he was going to monitor was when that slide gets to a certain point, best guess, then they're going to weigh it, and then sort of look at that slide will give them the best guess of the weight. That's what I heard Keith say a while ago.
That's what we're going to do. That's what we've been doing. We've been just best guessing, but we probably need to.
You know, once the slide guessed at a weight, you know, you may have to adjust it a little bit for rain, but, I don't see a much other way unless you just go weigh it every time, and then they're gonna get you before you get to the scale.
Yeah, we have been dumping it more frequently ever since we got the ticket.
Good. I mean, we've been dumping more frequently, but we've been running backhoes and getting brush. And just
But
get a little more in depth with it.
The placement of the slide, I think, is gonna be a good judge of what you've got, and that's what he's gonna monitor for the next 30 days or so.
You know, the liability is just too great to take a chance. We need to make sure that we're not violating the law.
Any other questions for department leaders or comments from department heads?
We had the two budget amendments for the rollovers from projects that weren't finished up in last fiscal year, but budgeted in last fiscal year. The first one is the $3,000 for the backstop repair to come from the Recreation Trust Fund. That was approved last July, and the project has not yet been completed over at Crestview Park. And then also the sign for the Public Works Department was not delivered before July 1st. So once again, that's a rollover from last year to this year.
Any questions concerning budget amendments?
Move we approve the budget amendments as presented.
Motion to approve the budget amendment request. Is there a second?
Second.
There is a second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Record show it is approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else for department heads or comments from department heads? I know, Keith, we heard a lot about pickup trash and everything, or pickup brush and that. I understand there's a lot out there. I appreciate the work that everybody's doing. Like I said, that's on top of your other everyday responsibilities. So thanks for getting out there and doing what you're doing, and appreciate it. Appreciate all the departments, what you're doing, working through difficult times. Thank you. Anything else from anybody else for departments? Hearing none, we'll move on to committee reports. David, would you like to just report on what's going on top of the hill and introduce our guests?
We're taking a lot, there's made a lot of changes over at the office. I'm sure that y'all have been reading some of these in the paper. So I'd like to introduce our new PGA brother, Mark Brady. He comes to us from Tryon Country Club, where he serves 9 years. He is a Class A PGA teaching pro, which is what everyone knows we have to do over at our club, is to get the youth involved. And this gentleman knows how to do it. You can say he's already set up to have 2 days of free instructions for kids, one from to 11 years old and another one from 11 to 15.
Right, that's next Tuesday and Wednesday, from 10 to 11 each day, we'll take the youngsters, and then 11 to 12, we'll take the 11-year-olds. I'm glad to be here. I appreciate the opportunity. You've got a great facility over there, and it's a great situation where a town can have a facility like that that's able to charge the fees that they do and provide such a great service to the community. And I think David says if we can get the youth back going again and really get some interest, I would love to get my hands on some of those kids that were playing baseball and get a golf club in hands. If they get a baseball like that, I think we can get them going on the golf. So.
I was going to, because Mark's got somewhere he needs to go.
I'm trying to go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Well, we've had a couple of tournaments. We had our member tournament. Rick Lewis won it at the age of 49. That's the only time I'm going to say that.
I've got something to say, so go ahead.
Oh, okay. We have, the shape that our course is in is the best it's been probably in 15 or 20 years. And
we can take a little bit of the credit, but the other credit is to the flood. And now we're getting, so we might get too much water. We don't really have much anymore. But it is fantastic. It's very difficult for us to keep up with with the equipment that we have and the manpower we have. It is hard to keep up with all the mowing that we really have to do. And you can't mow when it's soaking wet. But it is in fantastic shape. We've heard compliments from everybody. We even had some, I was over there, some of the people from over at Tryon came over, and a couple actually played. They really enjoyed the course, and I think that Mark's going to bring over quite a few that are going to join over here too. So we've got a lot of exciting things going on about that. Also, we just got in our new cars, and we decided that in order for us to have a better financial situation, we needed to have the car, and so that was one of the reasons for our move. And we offered the old pro to buy his, but he said that we weren't giving him a fair price, even though we did our research. But anyway, so after all that, the club is now taking over the car, which is a large piece of revenue for us. And what we're going to do is we're going to pay Mark a salary out of that. We have calculated that it will give us enough to make our payments. And after 5 years, we'll have one last payment on those cars, and it'll be before we own them. And that'll be $1 each. So we're really excited about a new club car, 2014 Presidente. I rode in one yesterday at Scramble, and it's fantastic. It is great. We have nothing but comments about it. Good comments. So we've got a lot of good things going, and I'm really, really excited about what we are going to be able to do with our little golf course here. And we still invite y'all to come over and play.
Comment about Rick, he is extremely proud of his accomplishment. He hollered at me while I was sitting at a stoplight here in town, just to make me aware, make sure I knew that. I told him I was aware. But he was, maybe he's telling everybody, I'm not sure. But
yeah. He won the championship in 2002. So now at 49.
Well, good job. Thank you. Welcome, Mo.
Thank you.
On top of the hill there.
And we can do anything for anybody that suspects their golf. That's it.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Good to have you with us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other committee reports? Hearing none, we'll move on to number 3 of new business, appointments to town boards and committees. Terry?
We had an opening on the Recreation Trust Fund. Mr. Cobb has agreed to serve on that committee if appointed. Historic Preservation Commission, Robin Van Jura, again, has agreed to serve if appointed. We had a member of Parks and Recreation Committee that decided not to be appointed again, and so Mike Petit has said that he would like to be a member of that committee. And Linda Hare, who the council appointed back in June or July, has decided to move out of town, and so she has submitted her resignation to the ABC board. And the ABC board has asked council to consider appointing Sally Lesher to fill that place on their board. So those are the 4 names for the 4 different boards that are before you.
And we still have a couple vacancies.
We have one vacancy on Historic Preservation Commission.
And if any member of the council has someone in mind, if they will let either me or Karen know of that, we'll be more than happy to pursue it.
We have one person that we're trying to get in touch with now about that, but if you know of someone else, we would be happy to hear.
What's the state's regulation on holding 2 positions of honor? And would it affect any of these?
No. You're talking about Mr. Cobb's?
I was really talking about Sally Lesher since she's appointed to the Water Authority.
She's not on the Water Authority anymore.
She's now on?
Yes, she is no longer on the Water Authority Board.
Okay.
I'll entertain a motion.
I would move that we appoint the list presented on the boards presented.
There's a motion to approve the appointees as listed. Is there a second?
If I can, if my name's on the list, if I can, I don't know.
There's a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Let the record show it is unanimous. If you would notify these people.
I will.
Would it be appropriate, because I think Kerry brought up a good point, there's no money exchange, but I think it probably would be better, more appropriate for somebody else to make that motion, or second that motion. So I'll be glad to, but I just think it'd be better for it to show in the records that it was somebody else making the second.
Well,
Keep everything up front unless you and I both second it. You have 3 seconds.
Okay.
Okay.
As far as town committees, if it's not inappropriate for any council member to serve if requested.
So I was thinking it was just him making the second motion.
So we'll have,
Appointing second. And just review.
you made the motion in 3 seconds.
who made the motion to start with? You did.
Yes, ma'am.
Would you like to withdraw the whole thing?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I mean, do I need to?
Well, if we go to, we'll need to withdraw it if we follow Henry.
I
It's
would-
already been
then
I would
voted
allow
on.
it to be amended
To be amended?
yeah,
Okay.
with the
Kerry,
appropriate
would you allow it to be amended?
Yeah, I hesitated anyway to wait on somebody.
Okay. That'd be fine. We have the motion
And,
amended.
okay, you make a motion to amend it, to read that way?
Yes.
Is there a second to the amendment?
Second.
All those in favor, raise your right hand. Let the record show it is amended as approved.
Okay.
And then we'll let you know about the other appointment.
Yes, when we hear, or if someone has a suggestion.
Moving on to number 4, request North Carolina DOT for road closure for the Fall Festival.
So moved.
Second.
The motion is second that we approve the road closure for the Fall Festival. Any further discussion?
No changes from previous years.
That's my understanding. I asked. That's what they told me.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Let the record show it is unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
And ratification to vote to close portion of Tom Street.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to ratify the closure of Tom Street. Any further discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Let the record show it is unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further discussion or comments from anyone? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion, is there a second? Second. All those in favor, stand up. Oh, I forgot. This is outside, but don't forget, our state, on page 92, Rutherfordton, take the opportunity to turn there, read an excellent article, and thanks to David Courier, today's, it's got on there, it talks about the article, Reflection of Rutherfordton, so we thank David Courier for bringing it to everybody's attention. So be sure to get our state and look at Rutherfordton, and nice article. Thank you.
Thank you.